What's up everyone, it's Rinku, and today I wanted to share with you some secret and or hidden Awakened Dark Knight combos. Now before anything, this is not a Dark Knight guide, and these are not the best combos for Dark Knight. They actually are probably impractical and or completely useless. But I did want to show you that these combos are possible, and to see if anyone has a use for these combos, or if anyone has found even more hidden combos that are not even covered in this video that no one would think of doing. So these are just some very interesting things that I've discovered while playing this character. I have no idea if you'll ever use these, but I just wanted to show you guys what she's capable of. So I will be splitting this video up into two main sections, the first being infinite casting and the second being flow combination. I'll also try to put a lot of the combo timestamps in the description if you want to skip around between the different combos and discuss whether it's useful or not. So feel free to let me know what you guys think of these combos, and without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first infinite cast you can actually do doesn't even require awakening, and I didn't even know you could do this until today, but I learned it because it's basically the same thing as something else I discovered, and someone in Discord, the Dark Knight Discord, pretty much told me it worked the same way in non-awakening, which I found is interesting. The only thing about this one, the very first one, is the key presses is actually kind of finicky, so let's just get right into it. The infinite cast is Pervasive Darkness. Basically, this is a skill that you push spacebar after pretty much any attack, and this one specifically in non-awakening form, and you do a slash. So basically, left click and spacebar is your normal attack, and then the spacebar is what we're talking about right now. And you can actually hold left click and hold spacebar, and you'll continually do this. But to infinite cast it, apparently, this is where it gets kind of tricky. You hit left click and then you hit spacebar really fast. As you see, that didn't work, and there we go. For some reason, this is the only combo in this whole video that is so finicky, but if you do it and you hold it, you can infinite cast Pervasive Darkness. Very interesting. Now, Pervasive Darkness is pretty much a trash skill after awakening. You'll probably never use this. I'll probably lock it after video, but that's that. So we're back, finally in awakening, probably for the rest of the video, and basically we're going to do the same thing we just did, but you can actually do it in awakening. Now, this is a different skill. We are now going to be using Soul Snatch, aka the boomerang skill, and it works exactly the same way. You pretty much just push space after any of the awakened skills, and it will pretty much just throw a boomerang, and that includes just the left click. Now, I thought it was interesting that the left click just pretty much throws a sword. You'll probably never use this, but at any time during this left click, you can push spacebar and that will happen. And the buttons are no longer finicky, because when you're in awakening, you can stop your attack at any time and do the boomerang. You can even stop immediately after you hit left click, after you do that, and you can do it completely after you do the left click, but you can do it at any time between. It literally cancels the animation and goes into boomerang. Now, you can also hold it and do the same thing, so you can infinite cast the boomerang without even throwing your sword by just literally pushing both at any time. At any time you can hit the spacebar, as long as you don't hit the spacebar first and accidentally jump, because obviously if you hit the spacebar first, that'll happen. But as long as you hit the left click and it registers that, and you hit both at the same time or spacebar afterwards, you can pretty much infinite cast boomerang, which I thought was pretty awesome. So yeah, and also I should probably throw in the F, where you move around, you can also cancel that and at any time stop at it, like right when you hit spacebar. So if you just hit F, it'll go about that distance. And I'm not saying this is completely useful. I'm not sure if this would be useful or not. It's kind of useful to like stop if you just ever need to stop. But that's all I'm going to say. But you saw how much distance I covered. If you push F and then completely push spacebar right after, you stop immediately. So it can be used to like stop if you accidentally hold F for too long, or if you want to stop immediately for whatever reason. So the spacebar pretty much just cancels it, but you can also infinite cast this. Alright, so we have our third and final infinite cast. Now this may be the only infinite cast and or combo that's actually practical, even if it's only in a PvE setting. But I'll let you guys decide. Let's just get straight into it. It is Spirit Legacy, and this is actually one of our main skills. I'm not going to go over the skill in general, but if you know what it does, I mean, you should know what it does. It's good. It's good. Okay, so let's just go over it. Basically, you shift right click, and that does a skill. And if you hold back or you hold forward, you can like cast it faster, because if you just stand still, you can't really do anything. so it's kind of hard to cast it multiple times. Now, I've only been using it when it's off cooldown to do the most damage, to do all the effects, but honestly, even when it's on cooldown, it does significant damage, enough damage to like out damage most of our unawakened skills, if all. So it can also be used right afterwards without moving left, forward, or backwards, even faster by hotbarring it. So I didn't really understand they meant for multiple castings, but if you're gonna cast it more than once, you should definitely hotbar it. And basically this allows you to spam the hotbar ability, and you don't have to move at all. You can just keep clicking the button, and it will keep casting a lot. So that can rack up a lot of damage very fast, especially if you're already going to cast it. So you can infinite cast it by just clicking it on the hotbar, of course. It's probably not recommended to cast it a bunch of times. It's not huge damage compared to all our other awakened skills, but it's kind of comparable to our non-awakened skills, which is why a lot of people are talking about it. I'm not sure if it really replaces like Wheel of Fortune, it probably doesn't, but it may replace some of the other filler non-awakened skills, I'm not sure. I also don't know how strong it is at lower levels. I'm level 59, so it doesn't do that much, but a lot of people are suggesting shift right click for the first hit, and then keybind for the second hit, just to get 2 hits out there, and it honestly works. It finishes off monsters if they have HP. It's just like a situational thing, but you can just at any time when you hit shift right click, you can just do it 1 or 2 more times to just finish everything off, instead of switching to Wheel of Fortune, which is really slow, and when you switch you have to obviously switch back, so that's like committing to 2 different skills. Maybe you don't want to switch back because it causes, either way, if you switch back with forward right click or back F, they are both movement skills, so maybe you don't want to do Wheel of Fortune that takes a long time and move around. You could just simply double cast Spirit Legacy, or even triple cast it, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure how often you'll use this, but I actually think this will be something that people will use in PvE and training and all around. Yeah, it just might be a thing, so I figured I'd show that. So now we're finally going to get into flow combinations. Before I even show you the combination of the flows, I just wanted to explain how the flows work even. And you have to be level 57 and 58 to unlock the flows respectively, so you basically have to be level 58 to do the entire combination. But before we even get into that, shift left click when you get the flow, you can do it 2 times. So shift left click and you hold, and it does 2 attacks. Same with shift E. If you hold shift E, you do 2 attacks, and the second attack you even move forward. Now, those are great, but you can also change the direction, and it also explains all this on the skill description, even the combinations somewhat. So you can hold left click or shift left click, and it launches you forward, and you can even switch to right click to launch you backwards. So that means instead of just staying in one place when you shift left click, and instead of moving forward, shift E has the same kind of description, hold shift E to launch to the front, or hold right mouse button to launch to the back. So we'll start with shift left click. Shift left click, if you hold shift left click and you switch to right click, you go farther back. I don't think you even need shift right click, I just kind of hold it out of habit. We'll have to test that in a second. So shift left click with just right click. Yeah, so you just need to tap right click, you don't need shift at all. As well as it works the same way with shift E. So you can do shift E and right click, and you can move backwards. Now I think shift E is a little bit finicky. Let's see after the cooldown. I do not think you can hold shift, or else it may interrupt the skill. So shift E is one where you have to really pay attention to the shift. Because if you hold shift and you hold right click, it does Spirit Legacy instead. So I figured I'd kind of point that out. Shift left click though, when you shift left click and you want to go back, you can definitely just hold shift, it does not matter at all. Shift E is the only one where you have to pay attention to if you're holding shift or not. So that's the 2 flow skills separate. Now we're going to go into some interesting stuff I discovered with Misty after we PvP'd and we discussed some combos. We discovered even more stuff. So before we even discussed half the combos I'm about to go over, I actually found one of them on stream, and I thought it was the most craziest hidden combo I've ever found. I thought no one knew about it. I went to the Dark Knight Discord to ask them about it, and I was quickly shown that it actually shows on the skill description itself that you can do this. So if you look at Flow Bombardment, which is basically Shattering Darkness, the second hit anyways, it shows that you can actually cast this after Seed of Catastrophe and Flow Root of Catastrophe, so either or, you can cast it after. And the flow root of Catastrophe says the same exact thing. You can do this after using Flow Bombardment. So basically this means that you can intertwine the skills. Now, the one thing I want to point out here is that it uses both the cooldowns and both of these skills, so that's why I think it may be impractical, but maybe it does actually have some practicality. So I really want to see what you guys can come up with. So I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the first combo that I discovered on stream, and basically it's shattering and then seeds and then shattering and then seeds. Shift left click, shift E, shift left click, shift E. And you just use both skills and continually moved backwards and most likely saved time. Unfortunately, you used both of the cooldowns at the exact same time. So this is where things really start to change. Now, huge shout out to Misty once again for showing me this combo. This combo that he showed me led to the rest of the combos we'll be showing in the video. We pretty much discovered all these by having a long chat in Discord, but my combo that I found on stream and his combo that he shared with me pretty much fueled all the rest of these combos. So what he told me was you could use Seed of Catastrophe and then use Shattering Darkness twice using the flow and still do the flow of Seed of Catastrophe, which I did not think was possible. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you pretty much just do Shift E and then 2 shift left clicks and then another Shift E. And you can still get that extra Shift E off at the end. That's crazy. So you can pretty much split it up any way you want. And it doesn't even stop there. You can actually do the flow, change direction, as long as you're using the flow 2 times in a row. So basically, if you did that combination that we just did, you can change the direction of where you're going when you're using Shattering Darkness, because you're using it 2 times in a row. So let me just show you. The same combination, but we're going to shift to right click after Shattering Darkness. So Shift E, shift left click, right click, and then another Shift E. And that pushes you farther back because you change directions mid combo. That is just simply amazing. I did not know any of this was possible. And thank you, Pirate, for interrupting us. So those were 3 combos, but it does not stop there. You can also use Shattering Darkness once and then go into Seed of Catastrophe twice and then back into Shattering Darkness, basically completely reversing the previous combo. So shift left click, shift E twice, and shift left click again. That's amazing. So we're up to 4 combos, and you can also reverse the direction of the same thing. So in both of these last combos, they kind of reverse, and they also switch direction whether you use your flow or not. So I know that's a lot to take in. It may have been confusing what I just said. I may have just made no sense at all to anyone. But basically, shift left click, shift E, right click, and shift left click. And I don't know why my skill animation stopped there, but basically you saw the combo. I'll do it one more time. So shift left click, shift E, right click, and shift left click. I don't have mana, but you guys get the point. So that was 5 flow combinations that you can do with the Dark Knight by using both cooldowns at the same exact time to probably rack up damage a little bit faster. I would say it's risky in PvP because you're committed to both skills, or you have to cut them short and like waste a cooldown, but I may be wrong. So let me know what you guys can do with these combos. Let me know if there's anything else you guys have discovered that's even more amazing than this. And with that, I think we've covered everything I have learned. So I'll be trying to hit level 60 and trying to make a Dark Knight guide. I'll be looking at a lot more information. I want to get both the PvE and PvP aspects completely filled out with all information in my Google Doc. And then I'll try to make just like the ultimate awakening guide, but hopefully I'll have a lot more Dark Knight input before that happens, so it may take time. But with that, I think we're finally finished. So thanks again for everyone watching, and thanks for all the support. And if you guys have any questions or comments, critiques, suggestions, anything, leave it in the comments. I read all the comments. I even answer Discord PMs if you want to join there and PM me. And a lot of people in my Discord are also willing to help anyone that joins. So with that, I think I'll finally leave you guys alone. Alright, see you guys.